What's up, you guys? So today I'm going to go over push-up form. Alright, so I wanted to make this because I'm going to be doing a 5-minute chest workout for you guys, so be watching out for that. But I definitely wanted to make sure to go over push-up form first, because that's going to be in it. And for shoulder safety, it's important to try and do these correctly, so you don't pull anything, and also so that you take the shoulders out of the movement, and focus on the chest muscle only. Okay? So, let's see where to start. There's lots of different things I want to talk about today. So, in general, there are 3 basic modifications that you can use depending on what level you're at. So the first one is going to be doing them off of the wall, and then the second one is off of something that's maybe about waist level height. It could be a bed, it could be a couch. I'm going to be using a doghouse today to demonstrate that. And then there's doing them on the ground. You can either do them on your knees or on your toes. So I'll be going over all of those. Alright, so here's my wall right here. So one rule of thumb for working out your chest muscle is when you're doing push-ups, you want your hands to be at chest level. We don't want our hands up here by our shoulders. Look what happens to my elbows automatically. They start coming up towards my shoulders. And this is when it can be a risk. When your elbows are lined up with your shoulders here, this can be dangerous when it comes to pushing, especially heavy weight if you're doing a bench press or something. If you flare those elbows out, this is bad. This is really bad, okay? So we always want to have our elbows down here in between my shoulder and in between my body. So right in between. So I call this a 45-degree angle. This is where I want my elbows, okay? And my hands, look at my hands. They're nicely lined up with my chest muscle. So this is where you're going to be pushing from. Not up here. Nope, this is not good. Now look at what happens to my shoulder already. This is my my next point, is we want to take the shoulder out of the movement. So we need to make the shoulder literally the dominant muscle. It has to be on top of the shoulder. So what I mean is, so if I'm doing a bench press or something, or even a push-up, and I'm using my shoulder to press, my shoulder is now ahead of my, look at my chest muscle, kind of how it's sunken in. Okay, this is when you're going to really do some damage to your shoulder, or even if you don't get an injury, you're going to be working your shoulder way more than your chest muscle. So we got to take those out. And we do that by simply bringing them back. Now this takes practice, so it might take a long time to really fully get it, but once you get this down, it's so beneficial to hitting that chest muscle instead of the shoulder. Okay, so if I'm pushing with my shoulder back and forth like this, what I'm going to do instead is watch what happens to my chest muscle. Man, right now this is kind of like bouncing around it. Like there's nothing flexed here. This is not going to work for a chest exercise of any sort. Okay, this is not good. This is all like blah, nothing's happening. So what we got to do is pull that shoulder backwards. Bam, get it back. Now, look at what's dominant now. So if I'm laying down or if I'm doing a push-up, bam, and now this muscle is now on top of this one. Okay, so this is now the dominant muscle. This is really important, you guys. Okay, so look at this pressing movement. Look at this, how this can actually function now as a pressing movement. Okay, as opposed to sinking in and pushing with my shoulder, letting my shoulder kind of run wild here. My shoulder just gets to do anything. And when your shoulder's loose like that, then it's prone to injury as well. So when we keep them tucked back, we have good posture, we keep our shoulders back before we do our pressing movements, our shoulders are going to be a lot safer. Okay? Alright, so we went over where the elbow needs to be. The elbow needs to be not like this, but right in between, right here. We went over pulling the shoulders backwards so that our chest is the dominant muscle, pushing out. Bam, look at that. So once you guys get this form down, you can really start building that muscle quick. Okay? So when you're doing it off the wall, again, you want your hands down at the level of your chest muscle, not up by your shoulders, not here. We don't want to be pressing like this from our shoulders, and we don't want them up above our head. This is just not going to hit the chest muscle at all, okay? So, down by our chest muscle. Let's see. Okay, so you're going to want to lean against the wall, so I'm going to step out a little bit as well, so I'm going to get a little lean. One other thing, you guys. The closer you have your hands, the more tricep you're likely to get in the movement. So we want to be out enough to where we're going to get the chest muscle. This is going to be a chest press in here. I mean a tricep press right here, okay? So this is going to work a lot of the triceps. So we want to take that out, widen out, get our elbows out right here. This is for the chest now. That'll make more sense in time if it doesn't now, but this is where it needs to be. So also, we don't want to come too far out because this is also prone to hurt our shoulder because everything's off, okay? And just for a basic press right here, we want our wrist underneath our elbow. Okay, so that means everything is lined up. You've got support underneath your press. Instead of if your hands are too wide, there's nothing out here. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to explain, but take my word for it right now. If you're a beginner, make sure that you're not coming too wide. Okay, if you feel any issues with your shoulders, you can message me and ask about form. You can send me a video. You can watch this one again. Maybe warm up the shoulders even. Practice pulling them back. So just avoid those shoulder injuries, you guys, because you don't want to get one. They last forever, and sometimes they just don't heal. Okay, so off the wall. So I'm going to be leaning into it. So I've got a little bit of gravity. Leaning into it. My hands are at chest level. And I'm just bringing my face down here and back up. Now notice my shoulders, I'm trying to keep them pulled back. Okay? Bam. It's just a small movement. Okay? So that's the first level. Once you get confident at those, once you start gaining strength and stuff, you can move your feet back little by little. And make sure when you do that you move your hands down with the angle. The more angle I have, the further down my hands are going to need to go down here. Okay, so that they line up with my chest muscle. Okay, so that's not easy. That's pretty hard, so that's good. So just move your feet back before you move down to your knees. If you can't do good form, you need to back up. You need to, move back to the last step, to the last angle. Okay, so the next one is going to be off of the doghouse, a couch, a bed, anything like that, an ottoman, 2 chairs, whatever you need to use. Okay, so this is making it a little bit more difficult because we're working with gravity more. All right, I'm going to pause this and turn it around. All right, so here's the doghouse. It's a perfect length, wideness for my hands. It's not too narrow. I can't put my hands any wider, so it's good to contain where I want my hands to be. Okay, so again, I'm going to get my my shoulders back so that my chest muscle is the dominant pressing muscle. Okay, none of this. Nope. This is too much freedom for that shoulder. Get it back and press like this. It takes practice, but just keep practicing and you'll get it. Okay? One other thing. Mind-muscle connection, guys. Some of us have a disconnect when it comes to our chest because we don't want to visualize it, how it is. We can't picture what it's like in the future, maybe. So if you can allow yourself to get your mind-muscle connection going, it's also going to help be able to build the muscle. So being able to, even if you can't visualize yours, watch some videos on chest muscles working so that you can get a visual of what you want yours to look like or what yours is doing. All right, so I'm getting my mind muscle focus ready. I'm going to be pulling my shoulders back. I'm going to be having my hands at this position right here. Okay, and I'm going to be really focusing on pushing with my chest muscle and feeling it work. So I'm not going to do too fast of a movement because I want to first be able to feel it. So go slower in the beginning. Once you have your mind muscle focus and you're able to get that pump and that burn right away, then you can move into doing it faster. But until you feel it really good in the chest, slow down the movement. Keep the tension on the muscle longer. Okay, time under tension is a really important tool that you can use. If you don't have enough of it, you're not going to build as much as you want. Okay. All right. So I'm going to put my arms here. Another thing that affects your elbows is the angle of your hands. So if you have your hands facing like this is not going to be good for your shoulders at all. This is no good, you guys. So let's turn the hands, bam, like this. And look what that did to my elbows automatically. It's really important. Okay, so I'm going to get into position. Nice plank position. And I'm going to come down with my shoulders. Notice my elbows are not going out here. No. My hands now are lined up with my chin level. That's not good. So, turn those hands, get those elbows in. Okay, pulling back the shoulders, bringing down the chest first. The chest muscle first. Do them nice and slow and controlled. I can feel this working real good. Bam. Squeezing hard at the top. The top is not a rest. It's when you squeeze your chest muscle. All right, so that's the second one. This is the second level. Now we're going to move down to the ground. This doghouse is dirty. Yuck. It needs to be hosed off. All right, so down here, I've got a knee pad. This thing is really great for push-ups. You guys, I do push-ups regularly on my knees all the time. Okay, because I pre-fatigue. So you'll see in the chest workout, I'm going to use pre-fatiguing to get access to my chest muscle quickly. And I'm going to be on my knees most of the time doing those push-ups probably. Because once you've got good form, you don't need a lot of resistance. So you get tired quickly when you've got good form, which is good. Because again, we want to tire out the muscle. You have to tire out the muscle in order to make it grow. You have to demand that the muscle does more in order for it to be forced to grow stronger. So that's what we do here. All right, so I'm going to do my knees first with this. Same rules over here, you guys. You don't want to put these too wide. This is too much. Make sure that they're outside the shoulders, but not too wide, and lined up with the chest muscle out here. Okay, so watch my elbows at a nice plank position, coming all the way down if I can, and all the way back up. Squeezing at the top. Squeeze. 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 What was I just thinking? Let me pause it for a second. I was just thinking of something. What was it? Okay, I remember what it was. So if you're not able to do a full rep where you are, in my opinion, you need to back up a step as well. Okay, because you don't want to be working half of the muscle. Just take your pride, put it aside, move back up to your ottoman or your chairs, move back up to the middle level, go back to the wall. Make sure you can do full reps first. You know, quite a few of them, until you move on to the next level. If you cannot do a full rep all the way down and all the way up, you're not there yet. So don't hurry the process. Make sure you build a good, strong foundation first before you move on to the next thing. Okay? All right, so now, same thing when we're on our toes. Same hand position for all of them. Hands at the chest. Elbows not here, right in the middle. Bringing back the shoulders and pressing from there. Coming all the way down and all the way up. So I'm going to get rid of this. All right. I like to use these because they're easier on my wrist. They're more difficult though than being on the ground. So I'll show you these next. All right, going to go into a nice plank position. Come all the way down and all the way up and squeeze. Squeeze. Okay. Put this up a little bit. Okay. So I like these because doing push-ups off of the ground can be hard on the wrists. If you want, you can get some wrist supports. I can send you a link to those if you want me to. So wrist supports. Here's the knee pad I recommend getting too. I use these all the time. And then these also are unstable. They turn. And so that also helps you build your stabilizing muscles in everything, really. So these are really great. But like I said, they're harder than doing push-ups off the ground. So these would be the hardest option. But they can be easier on your wrist as well. So you can put these on the walls as well. They don't really work well for in between things because of the angle your wrist, it's just kind of weird. But anyway, I do recommend these. These are great, in my opinion. All right, so I think that's it. Let me know if you have any questions. Message me anytime. Okay, and be looking out for that 5-minute chest workout. Okay, bye.